Meet Notaki for me, otherwise known as MuteScape. There were a few issues in the naming department. As the name might imply, my brand new Iron Man can't talk to or otherwise interact with NPCs. That means no shops, no services, no quests, no achievement diaries, and so much more. On top of that, all items used by the account must be obtained either through directly creating it, obtaining it via another skill if the item can't be created, looted from a monster if the item can't be obtained through a skill, or picked up as a world spawn if it can't be obtained through a monster drop. Along the way, there will of course be a few exceptions, but we'll cover those when we get to them. The first major goal for the account: clearing the fight caves and obtaining the fire cape. Let's do it. Oh, I'm so excited to get this started. Ladies and gentlemen and otherwise gendered individuals, welcome to MuteScape. Welcome to SilentScape. Oh dear. Nope. Nope. Nah. Worth a shot. Alright, I'll roll with it. True enough to form. Finally, welcome to my new Iron Man series that we'll lovingly refer to as MuteScape. As I complete Tutorial Island, allow me to talk to you for a while I explain the rules for the account. First and foremost, the golden rule of this account is to avoid interacting with NPCs at all costs. This essentially means I'll have no access to shops or services. I also won't be able to complete achievement diaries and quests. That said, quests do gate off most of the content in the game, so I'll be making some exceptions so I'm not locked out of certain skills in large areas. We'll go more into detail about quests as they become relevant. An additional restriction I've decided to place on the account is what you heard in the intro. If an item can be created, I have to create it myself. Otherwise, the item must be obtained through a skill. If it can't be obtained through a skill, like thieving it from a chest, then it must be obtained as a monster drop. And if all of those fail, then and only then can an item be obtained as a world spawn. If an item can't be obtained through any of those methods, then tough shit. We're going to call this Dr. Mr. Dude's hierarchy of item obtaining. Now that we've covered the rules, I now return you to the ruining of my account in progress. Alright, time to do the restricted Iron Man thing and drop all of my ill-gotten spoils from Tutorial Island. So the first thing I want to get done on this account is get prepared to create equipment with which I can begin training my combat stats. Normally, a new account might go do Waterfall Quest or Fight Arena, but not me. I'm special. In order to do so, I'll need to obtain a few items. Firstly, I'm going to need a pickaxe to mine ore so I can turn them into bars and create whatever I need for ranged and melee training. Pretty simple RuneScape stuff and easy to obtain, all things considered. At level 15 Thieving, you can pickpocket ham members and you have a good chance of obtaining a bronze, iron, or steel pickaxe from them. So my first little goal here is to get 15 Thieving by stealing this man's life savings. But before that, I'd prefer not to get KO'd by a man dealing 1 damage per punch, so I'm going to go beat up some chickens for their succulent flesh. Little did I know I was already about to make the first major mistake for this account. Remember rule number 2, remember Dr. Mr. Dude's hierarchy of item obtaining? While I obviously can't craft chicken feathers or bones, there are other methods using skills that can be used to obtain them. As such, I can't obtain the items through combat. Alright, I got my first full inventory of bones, feathers, and raw chicken. I'm picking everything up for now, and if I realize later I can't keep the items, I'll go ahead and drop them. Whoops, I forgot that I can't use the cooking range in Lumbridge Castle. I gotta use this cooking pot on the 2nd floor of the general store. Alright, that chicken got me up to level 4 cooking. Now to go victimize someone. 2 thieving, 3 thieving, 4 thieving, 5 thieving, 6 thieving, 7 thieving, 8 thieving. So I came back to kill more chickens for food and came to a rather horrifying realization. I've been eating forbidden chicken. So I just did a quick wiki search on raw chicken, and turns out that it's obtainable via thieving. My chicken was illegal, and that means I shall be publicly shamed for my transgressions. But that's okay, because I have humiliation kink. Nah, I'm not going to worry about it too much. 4 cooking and the HP that was recovered is a drop in the bucket for this account. I'll make up for it later. For now, I'm going to shift my murderous intent over to cows because raw beef is legitimately only obtainable by killing them. The cow hides, on the other hand, are also obtainable via thieving, so I won't be picking those up. Man, this cow is kicking my ass. Yeah, killing baby cows is definitely more my speed. Oh dear, I appear to have been bovined. Well, that's my hardcore run done. Unfortunately, I don't get the option to not talk to Death, but that brings up an interesting point. I'm forced to talk to Death on my first, death, but every subsequent death I'll have to go back to my gravestone so I can never talk to him again. I guess anything left in my gravestone is going to just be gone forever. Fun. I'm just going to resume thieving. If I die, I die. No big. 9 thieving, 10 thieving, 11 thieving. 15 thieving. Now, a less sensible man might run off to the ham hideout immediately, but I have been around the block a time or two. I know that failing to pick the lock for the ham hideout can sometimes drain your thieving level by 1, so I'm going to go ahead and get another thieving level just in case. And there we go, there's 16 thieving. Let's give this a shot. Any minute now. Almost got it. Bam! Theft begins! Or not. Yeah, it looks like picking that lock drained my thieving by a few levels. Theft begins, but later. No, this guy kinda has a point. Theft begins for realsies this time. We go again. There we go. That's what I came here for. And it's even the one I wanted. How sweet of you. May as well get my money's worth here. We go again! Okay, that's enough of that. I got a few other useful items. I got some legitimate chicken, which will help me with druidic ritual later down the line. Got a single feather. And I got some thread, which I'll definitely need later. Ham members carry around some other useful items in their pockets, but we'll come back for those at another time. Now that I have my current best-in-slot weapon, I'm going to head back over to the cow pen and make up for the mistake I made with the chicken earlier. I got 14 chicken, and while not all of it was useful to me, I feel it's only right that I collect 14 raw beef and drop it to the ground. That way it's like I used the beef for cooking before instead of the chicken. Level 14 beef acquired. I'm going to get one more to keep in reserve for druidic ritual as well. Something you might have wondered about by this point is how I intend to deal with banking. After all, banking typically involves an NPC behind a bank booth. No, I'm not going to be cute and say that because I click bank on the bank booth, it means I'm technically not interacting with the NPC, because that's exactly what's happening. You might think this rule set would apply itself well to being an Ultimate Iron Man, and while I did think about doing that, I'm not insane. Instead, my banking will be limited to the utilization of bank chests and deposit boxes. There are 44 locations for bank chests in the game, and every other bank, to my knowledge, contains a deposit box, so I'll be using that system for banking instead. I'll have to be careful when it comes to deposit boxes though, because if I deposit something that I need and don't have a bank chest nearby, I'm just going to have to make a big old detour to get that item back. This is totally not a hint at all for something happening a little later on. I couldn't help myself, I had to take the new pickaxe for a spin. This would be the exciting beginning of creating some equipment for myself, but there's one more hurdle in the way. While I have the pickaxe needed to obtain the ores, I don't have a way to turn those ores from bars into gear. There's one key element missing, a hammer. Normally you could obtain a hammer simply by buying it from a general store, killing a goblin, killing an imp, maybe even killing a dwarf. I don't judge. Well, as it turns out, hammers are obtainable through 2 skills, thieving and hunter. We're already familiar with thieving. We like thieving. It's been kind to us. But unfortunately, the only places we could steal a hammer from are on Apatol and Dorgish Khan, both places that we can't go based on the restrictions of the account. That just leaves us with hunter. On the baby impling drop table are a few items that are going to be essential for the progression of this account, such as a chisel, a knife, flax, an air talisman, and, of course, a hammer. As it turns out, many items that would otherwise easily be obtained by slaying monsters become much harder to find because of implings. So, hunter is going to be an important skill for me to train. But wait, there's more! To start training hunter, you typically obtain the necessary items from one of the various hunter shops. I obviously can't use those. Of the 2 methods available to begin training Hunter from level 1, only one is doable by my account, and that's Crimson Swifts. I can't hunt Polar Kevets because they require a Noose Wand, and Noose Wands are only obtainable from shops. I can, however, obtain bird snares through, you guessed it, thieving. On the Isle of Souls there's a dungeon, and in that dungeon is a chest that requires level 28 thieving in order to open. Personally, I didn't even know there was a chest in the dungeon until about 5 minutes ago. I've only ever been in there once on my main for a dragon task a long time ago. This chest contains a few interesting items, not all of which are usable or useful for my account, but it does contain bird snares at a drop rate of 1 in 33. Next episode, we'll be headed to this dungeon for a shot at beginning the Hunter grind.